Hi, I'm Scott Willison, owner of the Confluence Fly Shop in Bellingham, Washington. And today we're going to tie a great little caddis fly, dry fly pattern that works well throughout the entire caddis fly season. This one is called the Butt CDC Caddis. I'm starting out with a size 14 Daiichi 1180 in the vise. This is just a standard dry fly hook. You could tie this in 12, 14, 16, 18, even smaller if you like. I've got just some black thread, in this case 70 Denier ultra thread. And we're just going to lay down a good thread base here. And then we'll trim the tag in. And we're going to tie in our namesake hot butt. Who doesn't love a hot butt on a fly? And these certainly work great on caddis flies too. This is something, some people might take this as or trout might view this as an ovipositing caddis, laying eggs in the river. This could represent the egg sac. Might just be a little attractor, just a little splash of color that gets their attention. Who knows? Who really cares? It works. So I've just tied in, this is fluorescent green Chartreuse glow Brite thread, number 12. I just tied in, I took 2 strands, doubled it over, so I've got a total of 4 strands in the butt. And we'll go ahead and just trim that up there, slightly longer than the back of the hook. I don't want this real long. Just want that little splash of color. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and create a dubbing loop. Take a wrap or two around the base of the loop to close it. And then we can go ahead and advance our thread forward. I've got my favorite Stonefo rotary dubbing tool in here. That's going to open up our thread. And then we're going to go ahead and get to work on the body. So this fly is largely made out of CDC. CDC is great because it's buggy. It's a natural fiber. It looks very realistic to the fish. It'll trap air bubbles. It also has the added advantage is that it floats naturally. And so what I've done is I've grabbed 2 longer CDC feathers here. This is the dark dun color. This is one I really like for my darker caddis, but do the same fly in tan or shades of olive. And I'm just going to lay those feathers side by side and then clip it into a little clip here. I really dig the Swiss CDC multi-clamp tool, but it is somewhere on my tying desk buried under a bunch of material, and I cannot for the life of me locate it. So we have this one handy, and this is what we're going to go with. So I've got that clipped into the tool here. I've just cut the stem off the CDC, so I've got just feathers. And we're just going to open up our loop, lay that CDC inside. I'll kind of tap those butt ends just to even them up. And then we'll go ahead and give that a good spin here to get it going. Now my hope is that I put enough on here to be able to get full coverage on the fly for the body. If I did not, I will have to create a second dubbing loop. So we're going to go ahead and do fairly tight turns. I want a lot of that CDC in there, both for the bugginess and for added flotation on the fly. You can kind of sweep the fibers back as you go. I think we're going to be a-okay on the body here. Awesome. I'm going to take a couple wraps over the loop just to lock that into place, and then we'll do a couple of insurance wraps in the front there. And then we can trim our thread. If you think we're done with the CDC, not quite. We're actually going to add some as an underwing here. So you can take 2 or 3 feathers. I think I'm going to be okay with 2. And just get those tips aligned. And then we're going to put that underwing about even with the hot butt. And just a couple of loose wraps of thread to gather that up. And then mine was a hair longer than I wanted, so I just pulled on those stems to get it into place. And then I'm going to trim that up there. I don't want a bunch of CDC protruding over the eye. That's going to make it hard for me to thread the fly. Next, I've got some elk hair, and I'm going to take a pinch of that, maybe about half the width of a pencil, and we'll just grab it by the tips and make sure you pull out any of that fluffy stuff. That fluffy under fur can absorb water, and we want this fly to be nice and buoyant on the water. So we'll get rid of that stuff, and then I've got my my Dr. Slick medium brass hair stacker. I'm going to put the fur in there tip first. And then we'll give it a wrap on the table so we can align those tips. And I think we're pretty good to go there. I got a couple of oddball pieces kind of sticking out. And then we'll go ahead and tie this in about even with the CDC. Couple of loose wraps, and then I like to pull up on my thread and gradually tighten that up. If you pull straight up on the thread, that's going to prevent that elk hair from wanting to spin around the hook. If you pull as you're going sideways, it'll want to rotate, and then you don't have a wing right on top of the fly, which is what you're after. So I've got that wing secured. I'm going to go ahead and take a few wraps underneath to kind of prop that up out of the way. And then we can go ahead and whip finish this bad boy. I'll just hold those butt ends out of the way with my left hand so I can get a clean whip finish in there. We'll go ahead and do a second whip finish. I don't really like to put a lot of glues or resins or head cement or anything on my dry flies. It's too easy to clog the eye of the hook. And also, if you goop up any of your feathers that are intended to be buoyant, it might not float as well. So I think I've got that about where I want it there. And then for trimming this, I like to just brace the bottom end of the scissors right up against the hook eye. Kind of trim at a slight angle. So those butt ends will represent the head of the caddis, and I've still got plenty of access to the eye of the hook to tie this in. So pretty simple fly pattern there. This thing is going to float like a cork and will catch trout like mad throughout the West. So make sure you set aside some time to tie up a few hot Butt CDC Caddis and head to the river. You can find the materials for this and many other flies at the Confluence Fly Shop in Bellingham, Washington. Please be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content, and we hope to see you on the water or in the shop. Thanks for watching.